Hello again. Back with an update. I believe I've solved the mystery that I was having, and hoping that this video will help others solve theirs, or at least give them something to look at. There is stuff out there. It's in several different forums, but it's so broad, and everybody talks about different techniques, and there's no way to get a specific answer for all the different type of scenery that we could combine. So at least in what I have, and I believe what a lot of others are shifting towards, with FTX Global out there, then if you use the add-on vectors on the global base, it really does enhance your flying VFR, and gives you the ability to actually look at the scenery as, visual waypoints if you're flying VFR. So anyway, without further ado, I did have a problem with video capture now. For some reason, Shadow Play, I can't capture FSX and desktop at the same time, which is what I was able to do before. I can do it in full screen mode. However, whenever I get out of that view, it goes away. So bear with me. Hopefully this turns out okay. I'm just going to make a video initially of what you do within the files, and then I'll try to get a demonstration video put together after that and see if I can put them together. So here we go. The manual way to make these changes or fixes and it all depends on the tools you have. But with any tool, with any software scenery that you add, there's elevation files, and to navigate to them, you just there we go. So once you're in your FSX folder, I've got mine on the C drive, the root. Yours may be under Programs 86, Microsoft Games. I'm not sure. I've never installed it that way, but and it's my suggestion to y'all to always install FSX in the root, giving it better access to your files, and it also allows to run in a 64-bit setting, whereas the Program 86 prevents that. I haven't done enough research to tell you if that's true or not, but from everything I've read, that's what everyone's saying. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to navigate to the scenery folder, and then from here you want to go ahead and just scroll down or locate world, and then scenery. And here you want to look. This is all the airports that have scenery adjustments that FTX made changes to. And you want to search for your airport. For example, the one I've been having problems with, the one you saw in my original video, is KBVS. And you can just search for it, and it pops up there. And initially when it popped up, mine was set, I had the extension .off on the end of it. That's what you want to check for. If it does, change it to BGL, go test flight at that airport, and see if that resolves your issue. If it doesn't, or makes it worse, you can turn it back to .off. And you also want to see if you have more than one. If you have more than one, there's an issue there. There's probably a conflict between the two files, and my best suggestion would to go search for duplicate elevation BGL files and see what you've turned up. I haven't seen the issue, but I have read that can cause an issue. Okay, after you made that change, hopefully that fixed your world, but I just want to make the suggestion, after you've done that, or before, however you want to approach it, if you have FTX vectors, make sure you update it to the 1.15 if you haven't already. This is important because I noticed I had the 1.10, didn't know there was an update. Sometimes I count too much on the auto update tool, and a lot of these software doesn't have it. So you have to go and do checks. I'd say at least monthly on all your software to see if they're up to date, because it will solve a lot of your problems that you're having and a lot of the complaints that we all are having. And I'm guilty of it, but I'm putting it out there. Hopefully I don't do it anymore. But you got this option, this tab, this nice little tab that says airport elevation correction. Now, I do know this was on 1.10. However, it didn't have this automatic configuration. Whereas we did have the manual, and we have to go through and disable the FTX elevation for every airport that we had the problem. I ran into the problem. I'm flying into Seattle, and all of a sudden I noticed the runway is partially up, partially down. It's blocked out, and I can't land there. So instead of being able to, I couldn't really fix that on the fly, literally. So I had to end my session, which was a fun flight I was having, and I was doing a flight with a couple of my buddies. And, if you want to consider it a win-loss, I lost. So you run this tool, and just for example, KBVS? There it is. Before, whenever I was doing that flight beforehand that I demonstrated you, I remember I went through here and enabled and disabled and didn't fix it. Well, this in conjunction with what I showed you on that BGL, because my BGL was set to off, that resolved the issue. And I have moved KBVS back into the enabled for FTX, and the problem arose again, not to the severity as it was, but once I ran the run auto configuration program, it automatically went ahead and put KBVS back in there. So this is definitely something that FTX knows that we don't, and it's all based on that folder and that file and how it's configured. And this is all because we installed, for example, me installed the FS Global 2010 by Pilots, and it's going to give me better, it's going to draw a better landscape. And, whereas FTX is more of the face of the landscape, it's like this is actually going to, the 2010 will actually affect it. So that's my biggest advice right there, and it's those two key things. And I did, we do have that other tool for 2010 that I demonstrated on the first video. It's also a very good tool, but ever since I've learned this here and the searching for the file within the scenery folder under world scenery, I haven't had any issues, haven't come across any issues, and the scenery is fantastic. It's what it's lived up to everything, all the hype, going through, and I've added every layer that they suggest. It's been a lot of money, but if you're into flying, and I'm into it, and you don't have the money to go spend it every day getting in a real plane, this is the way to go. And I plan on adding it and increasing the resolution. And by the way, if you do install these scenery packs by FTX, make sure you read the instructions. There's some very important stuff in settings you're supposed to do with the resolution of the mesh. So read those instructions. They're very easy. They're actually not that long, and they walk you through it quite well. They didn't give me the advice I needed for this, but they did give me a lot to go on. And they also gave me the instructions to making sure that I've got the best scenery possible with FTX Global and /factors. And I do run regions as well, but I run it in hybrid mode. But that's for another video, and I appreciate this. So hopefully this may be enough for y'all, but I might try to go ahead and show you a demonstration of me turning it off, showing you what it looks like off on that file, and then with it not in here, with that file, etc., etc. But anyways, I appreciate everybody's time. Thanks, and hope you enjoy.